Recording. All right. We are recording. We are live. Oh, this is so much easier than having to do two platforms, first of all. So it's good to see everyone. Bob, can you see and hear? Making sure that everyone is on the same page. Otherwise, let's get cracking. Welcome to the Market Watch Group working sessions. So the month of May, and it may be for a couple of months actually. We may do some working sessions now that we've had a full pass at the trading foundations. Actually, two passes. One was a little longer, one a little more condensed. And we've had two passes at options foundation. One was a little shorter and one a little more expansive that we just got finished with. So we have a lot of recorded content. If anybody wants to learn about anything in trading or in options, they have some good places to go. I think that the application, so my thought was, we don't have to limit it to just May. We could say to ourselves, you know what? We're going to play it by ear and just do working sessions. Today, we're going to do a trading plan sample. We may only get through half of it. So we'll do the other half on Tuesday. But in the meantime, yeah, that's my thought, is if we decide, you know what, it's a good time to build some X, solve for X, what types of trades, butterflies, calendars, and if we think that's the case, we'll just take one of our working sessions and do it. And then if someone's like, hey, I don't really know what those are, we can be like, great. Watch along with us. This is recorded. Go back to this recording here where we teach about calendar spreads, and then this will make more sense. Again, this is my task for you guys to help me. Help me make it easier to onboard people. So what we've built here is to some extent a moving train, right? It's a moving train. If you've been on it for a while, you're like, what? Is this train moving? Because you've been on it. You don't know. It's the same speed we've been going. But if someone new jumps on, they're like, oh shit, this train's going kind of fast. So the big thing that I'm thinking about and considering is what resources, getting them onto Discord, getting them the documents. So I'm working on that, on where I can put in-house documentation into Discord so that it's like, oh yeah, I just got to go here. Maybe I think I can have like a channel that has no ability for people to talk to each other, but just the ability to download things. So I'll call it like resources. Anyways, we're waxing philosophically here, because the stronger this is, the stronger the trading that comes out of this. Bob said, yeah, that SPY trade is hitting now, isn't it? Now it's Friday. It's like, I think we're going to be able to carry that to Monday. And then I get to Monday and I'll just be like, done. We'll talk about that tomorrow for sure, Bob. Yeah, that one worked out. I was even thinking of putting another one on. And with the market up today, I think I might put out another calendar alert tomorrow. Because remember, it's not a timing thing, right? That's not a timing. Time is on your side. Therefore, time is not required on entry. So, yeah, love it. Love it. I love that it worked out. All right. Yeah, we need an alert tomorrow. People are like, oh, the market's not great. We can't trade. What? What do you mean we can't trade? Of course we can. Don't be silly. Working sessions. Trading plan sample. My name is Scott. Here we are. Broadcasting live on Discord. Zoom. In our rear view mirrors. Technology wonderful. That's right. We're going to do everything in this one beautiful place. Disclaimers as always. Agenda. It's a big agenda today. Let's go look at a trading plan example. I did not. So here's what I ran into. I found an old, well-developed sample. It was on this old PDF. It wasn't translating well to the format we're in. I didn't get it all done. I have a feeling we're going to talk about the 4 sections. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 5. Then on Tuesday, we're going to do 4, 6, 7, 8. As a part of that, we will do record keeping a little bit, but not we'll look at the record keeping, but we're not doing the full Monty 100 trade. Let's like learn from our 100 trades and how we can carry forward from that. Right? So that's not coming yet. I actually think I'm going to do that one next. So it'll be trading plan, trade review, and then we'll get into some of the other things, the experiment. It's going to be great. I hope I can convince people to come, because I think these Tuesday, Thursdays are going to be like, this is where the rubber meets the road, and we're doing things real time that makes sense. Anyway, let's jump into it. This is and I'm probably going to finish this as I have been building it out. Trading plan outline, no. Sample plan. I just put it on our template, and I'm trying to build it out. My like numbers and bullets got a little scawampus a couple of times. But I just want it to be in this format, because this is what we're working on. So I've been fleshing it out a little bit. I mean, some of it, right? We actually we'll put a little bit into the record keeping and the analytics, but not much improvement. I'll have a couple of goals. Here's where I'm at. I've only put out 3.6 sections out of 8. And I'm at 7 pages. This is intimidating for people. But this is why we try to break it down 1 week at a time. And even in each week, we're not trying to like write the whole damn thing, just a little here, a little there. But look what I have. This is not that much, right? It's not like we're saying you should be writing more and more essays every time. We're saying condense it, refine it, polish it. It might not be very much by the time you're done. Yeah, I mean, it's, as you think about it, I think sometimes people are like, oh, like I should be writing more and more. No, actually, I would say you should be writing less. It should be just better. It should be more definite. So let's just go through this one section at a time. I hope this is what you are looking for. I'd love some discussion. Give me. I know Steven's going to be a little limited because he's driving. He's listening. We want him to be safe in his driving. So Sandy and Bob, you're carrying the load. Strengths and weaknesses. I want these to be meaningful, right? I want it to be meaningful. So when you look at strengths, what would that look like? So these are not identical to mine, but these are similar. I'm not just going to write some phantom trading plan if I have one that I can kind of just carry over to some extent. Vary and modify slightly. Strengths and weaknesses. Number 1, ability to maintain discipline and follow rules. So I want you to see the strength is not like, I think I'm very smart with numbers and good with charts. This is an ability to do what? This is focused on discipline and following rules. If I don't have the ability to say that, I'm on it as a weakness. Ability to maintain discipline and follow rules needs to go in one or the other, in my opinion. So if it's not in strengths, put it in weaknesses. And if it's in weaknesses, then you're going to create goals to say, how do I move that to strengths? Bam. Just like that, you've got a mechanism that's going to improve you, improve the plan, etc. Ability to, so it's about what am I kind of building? It's not like you're just like, I'm a naturally disciplined. No, I've had to work at that, but I have that. Have a good idea of what my trading flow looks and feels like. What does that mean? It means that I know when I'm trading my best. I'm patient, I'm disciplined. I'm with the market. I'm not like, oh, what's the market doing? I can't figure it out. I'm like, yeah, whether or not the market, I'm not saying that like right now, the market's not great, but I'm like, hey, I feel like I'm seeing it pretty well. I feel like I know what we're in, what we're up against. But, I know and can recognize when I'm in it. If I can recognize when I'm in it, then I recognize, maybe not as quickly as I always should, but hopefully. And I have a cadence of a mental inventory. Are you in your trading flow? What does it look like? We can talk about that. And then a sense of, well, if I'm not, how do I get back into it? So I think that's a strength, right? Is knowing what it looks like and feels like. So I know if I'm not in it, and knowing how to get back into it. What can I do? Which sometimes means take 2 or 3 days, take a break, right? And then move back into it. Last thing is, and I've had to work for this one as well. Don't panic easily, even after a small string of losers, right? And it's not quantified. That could be 4 or 5 for some people, 8 or 9 for some people. I was teaching a class one time, and I'm just up there like, oh yeah, how many trades in a row? And I'm like, okay, wear it like a badge of honor. How many? Like, what's your biggest number? Right? I'm going around the room, and people are like opening up, and then my buddy who was an instructor in the back, his name was Todd, put his hand up. He's a very quiet guy. He said, I think I have you all beat. I'm like, okay, what is it? He said 43. He had a currency trading system that he did. 43 losing trades in a row. Oh, I can't even imagine. Right? Can't even imagine. But, the question I asked next was, well, did it come back? And he said, yeah. So good thing he did. You'll notice again that the strengths are not like, what skills do I think I have? It's some of these strengths are things you work towards, right? In fact, a lot of them should be. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what we're working towards. Weaknesses. I tend to be influenced by preferential bias, right? Once I think something, I tend to be like, it's bullish. Oh no, bullish, right? And that's preferential bias is what leads to the frog in the pot of water, where we don't see conditions are changing. Conditions have shifted. We don't see that things, well, we can't keep trying to do what we are doing because this isn't the same market. Now, that is much less so now. This is from this may be from like 15 years ago, some of this. And it's funny because I'm like, yeah, okay, some of it, I don't feel like that happens anymore, but I'll tell you why. Market posture. Market posture really is probably the number one tool that I've worked on that helps me to avoid preferential bias, where it's like you can't ignore when you're forcing yourself each week to be objective, especially when you have to be accountable in our group, right? Where it's like, hey, look, well, if you want to bring it up, and we'll talk through it. And we're all open, but it has to make sense at the end of the day. Another weakness, I'm rash. Sometimes I rush to judgment without all the necessary information. I might be like, let's dive in. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't look at that. That's another one that it's very interesting for me to look back at these because these were, at the time, I think the exact weaknesses I was working on. I'm like, yeah, no, I really don't do that anymore. I don't tend to be influenced by, I love that I'm seeing this. I mean, it's been 15 years, so shit, you better have, buddy. But that's the point. The third one I do still sometimes suffer from outcome bias. I let thoughts wander to like, ooh, if I have all 10 of these contracts and it gets to my target, how much money will I make? Rather than saying, hey, you're supposed to be thinking about selling a third to a half of this at your initial target, right? I would say these two no longer for me. I'm going to take this and I'm going to be like, yeah, that's still problematic. Okay. Those are strengths and weaknesses. That's how I want them to be. I want them to be something that I can be like, all right, now let's fix it. I want the strength to be something that's representative of the work I've put in. How do these feel? How do these feel relative to the strengths and weaknesses that you've started working on? I hope this gives you some guidance that might be useful. What's next? Commitment and discipline, mission statement, vision statement. These are all just little statements here. Helpful, it does good. These are all just representations of it. Commitment and discipline. I am committed to becoming a profitable trader. I will dedicate myself to the process of a complete trading education, put forth the time and effort necessary to create a thorough business plan consisting of the rules, methodologies that will produce the desired results. I am also committed to continually monitoring and improving my trading process, adjusting my plan whenever necessary, thereby significantly improving my chances of success. That's a paragraph. It's a paragraph, but it's something that you're sort of making this commitment to yourself, and then this creates an accountability measure. Right now, I would say, you're looking at your trading plan once a week at least because you're working on it. Even when you're done and you'll move to where you're like, okay, I'm going to look at my trading plan every month. And then you'll move to where it's every quarter. And then you'll move to it's every year. But one of the things you're going to do is you're going to go back to this commitment statement, right? And you're going to adjust it. You're going to say, look, I'm no longer dedicated to a process of education. I'm doing it. So that's our commitment and our discipline. Mission statement. Trading mission statement. So this is what you've already seen. This is exactly Sandy saying I'm not looking at my trading plan enough. Yeah, it's helpful, right? This is the map. Pull the map out. That's the point. Steven said he's going to plagiarize. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, my friends. I have no problem with that, and I will work to get this thing fully fleshed out and then posted. And I'll post it even in its raw form, so that if it's helpful, you can use it. This is about collaboration. Yes, I love it. I think maybe sometimes it's like seeing, like, you know what? This isn't that big of a deal. Yeah, it's a lot. 7 pages so far. It might be 12 pages. But what does it represent? What does it help organize? Especially when you're doing a little time. And I think when we can see, like, oh yeah, this is really a manageable part of the process that will make it so much better, so much easier to build, to improve. Don't think it's that far off. Yes, I love it. That's what I think. It's probably closer than you think. Okay. Vision statement. What am I looking for here? So you remember the trading mission is, I posted mine already. That's like, hey, write a mission statement like you're writing it for a business, because it is. This is your business. That's the whole point. Vision statement's more colorful. It's like when trading's going well 5 years from now, what does life look like? 10 years from now. So my trading success will create financial independence. It will enable me to retire 10 years earlier. Well, it's not you guys, you're retired. So what? Then yours is going to talk about what does it let you do during retirement, and include everything. Include the challenge. I'll tell you right now, I think my father needed a mental challenge when he hit retirement. I think he diminished quicker because he was not doing something that was challenging him on a daily basis. Something that you enjoy, right? This can be an amazing thing just outside of monetary, but what does it provide as an anchor, as a routine, as something that you're doing to stay connected and involved? I never want to stop trading, ever, to the day I die, or until I cannot physically or mentally or whatever do it. Okay. So, while maintaining the standard of living I have come to enjoy, further, my trading success will enable me to achieve 3 lifelong goals: to have the additional income necessary to take multiple vacations every year around the world, to help create college education accounts for my grandchildren. My son is graduating in the next semester, and then my daughter only has 3 years. So I'm like, I'm thinking grandchildren now. Okay. And have the time and means necessary to give both time and money to my favorite charity, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Meaningful. These are significant. This is like meaningful. Now, I actually think It's a funny thing because I have 2 kids and I've asked them and I think they both will have 2 kids. I can almost, it'll be so interesting, but I'm pretty sure I'll have 4 grandkids when it's all said and done. 4, which is great because I'll spoil the hell out of them. Okay. Any questions on section 1? I believe this is one of the most important sections, and it's one that gets overlooked way more frequently than it should. People are like, I don't really need that. I just need great trading rules. I just need perfect signals. Perfect signals and I'll be fine. Yeah. And I'm like, no. More. Make it real. Make it meaningful. I love it, Bob. Love it. Commitment. No, we've done that. Where are we? We're down here. Market forecasting. No questions. Okay, so this one is, I didn't go through, right? I didn't post this because you're all in the same place. You're good. I'm gonna put it in here where it's like, what do? I have some descriptions of these things. What do I mean when I say market posture versus trading posture? Let's talk implications. Sandy, I love that. The intellectual challenge, right? Me versus the market. It's actually me versus the market and myself. There's the market and myself on one side. There's me on the other. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's have it. I'm in. I'm in. Types of so right now, this is my implications right now, and this is something I used to do, but I don't do this anymore. Now you could start with a description of what do we mean, but what am I thinking here right now? Based on my market posture, I'm thinking about delta neutral trades. I'm thinking about calendars and butterflies. I'm thinking equal weight between bulls and bears. I'm willing to go either way right now, based on whatever the market shows me. I'm agnostic to the direction. That's it. So I'm right now. If you would have said, "What are your trades?" 2 months ago, I'd be like, "I'm looking almost primarily for bullish trades. I'm willing to put on a hedge if a signal comes up." Very different, right? Very different implications in types of trades. Length of trades. A month ago, I'd be like, yeah, probably 7 to 9 days. Now what? 3 to 7 directionally, 7 to 12 for time trades. I want to be fairly specific. Do you have to go in and write this down like this? Of course not. Like you're just going to get complacent with that, but you should be thinking it. You should write it down for a while in order to develop a habit that turns into at least you're thinking about it, even if you're not going in and updating your plan, because it does become a bit of a pain in the ass. Right? Okay. We're just being upfront. Risk management adjustments. What are we doing right now? Lower risk overall. Right? Risk as a portfolio heat concept has been lowered. And my directional risk, I'm not willing to go 8 to 10%. Directionally, I'm maybe like 2 to 3 on either direction. 5 to 8 in the middle. Yeah, those things can change at least weekly, right? Yes, Bob. That's why I'm saying it could be a little bit of a hassle. You know, like and they're slight. It's not like you're like completely reassessing it. You're like, hey, all of a sudden I'm a little more of this and a little less of that. I just wanted to get this out there so you can kind of see like what should we be thinking about as we consider what our implications are. Trade strategies and systems. Mostly spreads right now. Mostly spreads. I think we have specific trade plans for each system. Yes, we do. Sandy, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to section 3 and probably section 5 today. Mostly spreads. Calendars, butterflies for neutral trades. Bull and bear call spreads for directional trades. Maybe also broken wing butterflies for directionals. You should know this. At any given time, if I said, Sandy, we should do this. We should do quizzes. And I'll be like, Bob, what strategies or systems are you willing to implement right now? She's like, no. Okay, we won't. I'm going to do it rhetorically, though. I'm going to be like, if you can't answer this, you know you can't, get to it. Trade management strategies. What are your But hopefully you're kind of seeing like, okay, now is he showing me like, what is he doing in each of these? Like, oh, that's what that means, right? Trade management strategies. I'm going to sell more at my initial targets for directional trades. 50%. Remember, for a while there, it was like a quarter. It's like sell a little bit, take some pressure, and then let it run. Now what? Sell 50% after the first 2 or 3 days for directionals. I sell a third-ish of my delta neutral trades, calendars, butterflies. Or I think about it. I did not this time, and I'm really glad because it is going well. At an initial 30%, but I will as we get into the summer, right? As I start having more of them. And then pushing to week 2, because now you're seeing what week 2 gives you, right? You're like, if I get here, well, this is actually the end of week 1. Week 1, I gotta get my verbiage on that a little bit more concrete. But next week, you're going to see on Monday, it'll be like smashing profits and you're shutting her down. Hedging. When a hedge signal is given, I'm going to buy SPY puts. I have not touched it, not even thought about it. It's been just working beautifully, like magic. Oh, like magic. We haven't even thought about it. And the funny thing is after day 3, it was in a good enough place that even if we had to, we would have adjusted it in a way that you're like, wow, this thing is working beautifully. We made the right call. Why? Because Scott thinks he's so smart? No. Because he shut up, he listened, and the market's like, Scott, your butterfly spread isn't going to work because the volatility isn't high. It dropped. It's low. I'm like, oh my God, market, you're right. The VIX is low. We better do it a different way. And so we did. Hip, hip, hooray for what? Humility. Humility. Open. Be water, my friend. Just adapt. That's the beauty of the fluidity. Okay, anyways, moving on. SPY puts 5% out of the money, 5 weeks out in time. That's just my magic charm of a hedge. Questions about the implications on market posture, section 2. Anyone got one? Feeling like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And it may be that you've already been doing this sort of, but not like as formally as this. And you're like, you know what? I just need to tweak my process and really be a little more refined in my ability to respond. Great. That's exactly what this is and what this is about. 100%. I love working sessions. I'm like, why am I in a rush to get back to the trading foundations for a third time? Go watch the videos. Let's work. I'm having a blast. Okay, trading systems. Now remember that this is one full set of rules per system. So in this case, this is for bounce trades. What time is it? Okay, we're in a good place. Bounce trades. Markets. When I'm thinking about bounce trades, I'm not looking for ETFs. Oh, this says I am actually. That's for calendars. Sorry, I'm wrong. I tried to copy and paste this, and this is wrong. I'm looking for high liquidity, primarily equity options market. That's true. Focus mainly on high liquidity and widely traded options. That's true. To identify the stocks. We're trading stocks. Look at me in real time. To identify which stocks will trade, I will trade. I will rely heavily on my market forecast routine and sector analysis. That's true. I will look to capitalize on high implied volatility by using premium selling strategies. And we'll try to capitalize on high momentum stocks by going long the options. I will trade. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. I mean, I feel good about that. It's a general decision. Time frames. I'm using daily charts primarily with hourly and 2 hour for intraday signals. Position sizing, 1 to 2% per trade. I'm looking for bounce trade signals. Okay, so there I was lazy. I need to be more specific. What does that look like? Right? Define it. Candles are diminishing, volume dropping. Stochastics and oscillators may not be oversold, but are slowing down, and we're waiting for them to turn. Whatever it is, now entries. I need to have basically my setup and my target. Looking for bounce signals, setup, and target. Stop. Worst case scenario on a losing side. Initially looking at 0.5% below the lowest point of the recent support. Or if momentum entry, use low of previous Heiken Ashi candle. I'm glad we're doing some of this real time because I want you to see that's it. You're just looking at it like, is this right? Let's type this. Let's edit this. Let's add to this. When you're going through this, right? Do it in a Word doc and it'll rewrite it for you. Exits. Looking to exit with a portion of the trade. We are looking to exit. I am looking to exit. Trading plan work is amazing. I'm looking to exit at an initial easier to reach target and then push more to a higher level. Trade management. What is this telling me to do? Okay. We'll tighten the stop to break even as approaching the initial target. Then we'll move to a trailing stop as the stock moves towards the primary target. Trail stop will tighten the closer I get to the target. Closer we get, less risk we take. Bam. So ours might be different because of the tools we use when defining rules. 100%, right? You're defining for you. How are you going to do it? How are you going to manage the trade? Are you going to move? Are you going to use stops? Are you going to tighten them? If so, based on what? Exactly, Stephen. Right? This part, I don't want you. Section 1, get inspiration all day. Section 2, all day. Section 3, you got to start to make sure that it makes sense for you based on what you're doing. Right? Tactics. In bull markets, I'll sell a quarter to a third at the initial target, hold the rest. In a neutral market, I'll sell half, take profits more quickly. So I'm sort of outlining my tactics in advance so that when I get to a certain market, I could go to my rules and be like, oh, you know what? I'm in a neutral market. And in my trade rules for this system, it says that I should start selling half and taking my profits more quickly. There's checks and balances throughout the trading plan. Everything ties back to itself and correlates to the other sections. That is how we want to define a system. Bounce trades, continuation trades, breakout trades. If you have whatever source. If you went back and looked at your last 25 trades, I said, where'd that one come from? Where'd that one come from? Where'd that one come from? If it's coming from a newsletter, that newsletter needs to become a system. You need to go in and you need to flesh out the system so that you know what information are they giving me? Are they giving me enough to flesh this whole thing out? Or are they going to leave me where I'm like, oh, you know what? They don't give me, I need more for trade tactics. I need to create my own because they're not giving it to me. So that's the intention here. Is right? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. The intention is to make sure that every system has this, that every trade you take comes from a system. If you're like, I don't know where this trade came from, that's a problem. Now, if it only happened once, you could be like, yeah, that was weird. Like, I just took a trade. Like, holy inspiration, Batman. But you want to be thinking, every trade comes from somewhere. There shouldn't be 11 systems, right? 3? Maybe you have 1 or 2 of your own, 1 or 2 that come from assisted. So 2 to 4, each one with its own set of rules and are identified as such. Remember that trading system will come into play when we do record keeping. Any questions on these? Now, is this everything? No. If you wanted to add more detail, if you're like, you know what, I'm going to break up entries into setups and targets. I'm going to add another section. Great. This is a baseline. This gives you a mold. Break it and make it better. I love it. Okay. No questions for section 3. I'm glad I didn't finish because I don't think we would have had time anyways. To be perfectly reasonable about it. Risk management, we're skipping. I didn't get to it all. Routines. Now, initially right now, I just have daily all at once. And then I have some weekly, and I just am doing it by bullet point. I'm actually going to change this. I'm going to change daily, and I'm going to say... well, maybe. I'd like to hit enter and say before market open. And then I'm going to put those there. And then, so let's put check the futures. And that's from Yahoo. Okay. Then we're going to go during market hours. And we're going to first evaluate any open trades. That's always. Anytime you look at your account during market hours, like if you're like, oh, I'm going to sit down at lunch and look at it, what's the first thing you do? Open trades. You don't go to Yahoo. You go to your open trades. What's going on? Don't look at the market and be like, oh, now what are my trades doing? Go to your open trades. Lastly, after market close. Now, these tend to be after market close. So we'll just put them like that. And now I have my routines. Before, during, after, what am I going to do? Let's get structure. The other thing I would add to this is at 7 a.m. MST for 15 minutes. That's when I do it. During market hours. When? For how long? At 10 a.m. for 30 minutes. I would actually say 15 to 20 minutes last hour of the day. Not always the whole thing, but a good amount. Right? And lastly, usually this is, used to be after my kids went to bed, but now they're all gone. So we'll just say approximately 10 p.m. MST. For around 30 to 45 minutes. That's my plan. That's what I account for. So market opens at 7:30 my time. So I usually do my own pre-market routine for 15 minutes before I start our morning sessions. And if we don't do it, then I do my morning routine and then I watch the market open. Sometimes a little earlier, right? But what am I doing? What is it? When is it? For how long? What am I doing? And I would put this in order. That's what I want it to look like when you're done. Daily, BMO, DMH, AMC. Then we have weekly. This is just bullets. What are we doing on Sunday? Sector time, searching time. Sector rotation, run searches. Keep watch list fresh. Watch list maintenance, review watch list, delete anything not, update the trading log. I don't know, lag. Trading log. Make sure all trades closed in the last week are logged and the trade log is completely current. Sub watch list creation. Make a short list of trade possibilities for the next week. Next week's market. Analyze the week ahead. Get film. Right? That all looks very familiar, doesn't it? Those are all the things that we tend to do. Let's actually put this one right at the top. Conduct market posture routine. And spell market posture correctly. All right. Conduct market posture routine. Searching time. Keep watch list fresh. I mean, look, that's a beautiful weekly watch list right there. Right? Then after that, we have monthly and quarterly. I'll add, I do have some of those. Right click. I know I do it wrong. The problem is I have Grammarly. And so Grammarly, you can see Grammarly tends to take over for my spell checker, which I'm glad for because I do pay for the premium version of that for my kids. And now I'll always keep it for me because it's really amazing AI. Makes you a very good writer when you're not as good of a writer as you seem. So anyways, Grammarly, it's like $100 for a yearly premium subscription. Love it. Wouldn't work without it. Okay. So monthly and quarterly, annually you could have, let's add that into the mix. If it'll let me add it. Come on. Let me hit enter. Come on. No. Seems to be stalling out, but you get the gist. Okay, so what have we covered today? We got some good work done. We've got personal info, pretty good pass at that. Feel good about that. Market forecasting, we didn't touch the beginning, but I feel good about the implications and hedging. Trading systems, we did a full pass on what a system should look like, bare minimum. Feel pretty good about that. Risk management, we didn't touch. That's going to be on Tuesday next week. Maybe we'll get a little bit. We'll skim through market posture. We're going to do risk management. We'll just touch briefly on monthly, quarterly if I can get some of that done. Record keeping, that's easy. We're going to just look at the trade log. Analytics, we'll look at a completed trade log, and that'll prepare us for our 100 trade review. And then we'll have improvement strategies that'll be on Tuesday as well. Okay. Where can we watch this recording? I'm gonna post it on YouTube and post the link in the email that I send. and I'll post it as an announcement in the Market Watch announcements that it's ready to be watched. How about that? And this weekend, I'll be working on resources so that I can have a place where all the resources can be found, accessed, and downloaded. And this trading plan sample will be added so that people can have this as a landmark to shoot for, to guide yourself with to some extent. Helpful? What do you think about working sessions? Number 1, unscripted, just like, hey, let's have an objective audio in and out, review video. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, trading plan part 2 on Tuesday. And then analytics and record keeping progress will be on the Thursday. These are big, actually. I'm really glad we're doing these. I'm really glad we're doing these. Any questions, feedback, any concerns? Has anybody been inspired to add to our brainstorming list? Full trading plan review. This is actually being converted into a multi-day. And we did already part 1. Multi-day. Nope. Multi-day. Enter. This is part 1. And then we're going to do part 2 on Tuesday. Then we're going to do the 100 trade assessment immediately following, hoping that we have time. It would be a really good part for the newbies. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think of how we would highlight that and as what. But you know what we can do when we have someone download, when you have the trading plan, we could actually put the links for these 2 sessions next to it. I'm going to find a way. I like your feedback. We're going to find a way. Okay. I got to run. It's good to see everybody. Tomorrow, self-directed. If you guys want to meet, I'll start it at 7:15. We didn't have anyone on Wednesday. Or at least if we did, I didn't see you. I'm pretty sure I'm going to send one tomorrow. I'm pretty sure we're going to start a session tomorrow for those who want to attend, starting at a little bit before market open. I will not be able to be in attendance, unfortunately, but I will start it up for those who want to, if anyone comes. And we will meet tomorrow at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's great to see everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Let me get my recording. I'm stopping the recording.